The history of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is literally, as the kids say, iconic. She's probably one of the most well-known female superheroes of all time, and she's a founding member of the Justice League. Her power level easily compares to those of Superman, and her tactical abilities easily compare to those of Batman. With one feature film under her belt and another on the way, everybody's favorite Amazonian princess has one heck of a history. In fact, her real-world history is arguably crazier than her in-universe history. History of Wonder Woman, real-world origins. You're probably wondering why that old-timey propaganda poster is heading up this section instead of a picture of Wonder Woman. Today the poster is known as Rosie the Riveter, but it was actually titled We Can Do It. The poster was produced during World War II to inspire female workers to volunteer for wartime service in factories, due to the fact that most able-bodied males were fighting in the war. Ammunition and vehicles don't build themselves, so the government was calling on the female population to help with the war effort, as if worrying about your sons and husbands somehow wasn't quite patriotic enough. Before too long, the working woman became a symbol of feminism, and Rosie the Riveter was a symbol of the working woman. A woman that's tough enough to do a man's job and yet still somehow traditionally feminine. This is why the woman on the poster is known as Rosie the Riveter, because she exemplified the tough brand of woman that society was finally celebrating. I mention all this because it's important to understand that this was the world that Wonder Woman was born into, and because there's not a lot of crossover between the phrase Rosie the Riveter and the phrase Wonder Woman. William Moulton Marston, Wonder Woman's creator, was an American psychologist who lived a life that would probably be still considered untraditional to this day. He lived in a successful polyamorous relationship with his wife Elizabeth and their partner Olive. Note that Olive was their partner, not his mistress. Elizabeth was the breadwinner of the family and Olive raised the children. Marston, in many ways, owed a lot of his contributions to his wife, an idea I'm certain he'd agree with. Let's take his invention of a certain blood pressure test, for example. Elizabeth noted that whenever she got mad or excited, her blood pressure seemed to climb, which she felt implied a connection between blood pressure and emotional intensity. This gave Marston the idea to invent the systolic blood pressure test, which is still used in polygraph tests today. In other words, Marston helped create the modern lie detector due to observations made by his wife. During his psychological career, Marston came to genuinely believe that women were superior to men in many areas, and was convinced that not only could they work faster and more accurately under certain conditions, but also that they were just overall more honest. Another creation by Marston, similarly influenced by his wife, was Wonder Woman. Marston saw great educational potential in the fairly new comic book format and was quoted as such in a magazine interview. The interview was read by comic book publisher, the fantastically named Max Gaines. Marston had an idea for a new type of superhero that would solve issues by using the power of love instead of violence. Elizabeth is quoted as saying, "Fine, but make her a woman." Marston soon had the opportunity to pitch the idea to Max Gaines, who told Marston he'd be happy to support Marston's new superheroine. All that was left was her name. She was originally named Suprema, but this didn't last. After their stints in the factories during World War II, many American women were being referred to as Wonder Women. So Marston, a staunch feminist himself, felt that was the perfect name for his new character. And that's how the polyamorous psychologist who co-created the lie detector invented Wonder Woman. History of Wonder Woman, in-universe origins. In the island city-state of Themyscira, known as Paradise Island, it was rumored that Diana had been made from clay and brought to life by the gods of her mother, Queen Hippolyta. This may be because the Amazons who inhabited Themyscira lived under a matriarchy with a strict no-male policy. Eventually, a soldier named Steve Trevor crash-landed his plane on the island, and Diana won the right to return him to the world. She'd never left her homeland before, so the whole thing was very daunting to her. However, being raised a princess and a warrior, she was more than capable of handling herself as a diplomat and as a soldier. She goes by the name Diana Prince when she's not saving lives and fighting for justice in her costume persona as Wonder Woman. Throughout the years, she's used a lot of different equipment, but she's rarely seen without her bulletproof bracers or her golden lasso of truth, which makes people tell the truth. Her Amazonian heritage means she has godlike strength and agility, and that she's practically invulnerable to the normal weapons. Similar to Marvel's Wolverine, she also has enhanced senses. Depending on which era of her life we're talking about, she may also have the power of flight. Whether it's helping endangered citizens or attending diplomatic events, Diana is always the voice of reason, compassion, and justice. That's it for now, guys, but until next time, love the geek. Peace.